So the Dallas Cowboys are on their way to training camp out in Oxnard as we gear up for another NFL season. And a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans, self-included, are excited as we got some changes this offseason. We have a new defensive coaching staff under Christian Parker, new defensive personnel that we brought in via free agency. And we had, which I believe was an incredible NFL draft. So now, Dallas Cowboys fans, it's time to put it out into action. Let's go ahead and talk about it. What's up, Dallas Cowboys fans? It's your boy Jay Tuck back with another banger. And if you're excited about NFL training camp, specifically Dallas Cowboys training camp, then do me a huge favor, comment, like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you do not miss out. Today is a glorious day. Today is the most wonderful time of the year as we get ready for training camp. But not only that, today, it's Mama Tuck's birthday. Today is my mama's birthday, so I want to wish you a happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you, Mama, for raising me to be a Dallas Cowboy fan. Now, she's kind of getting cold feet. She's like, yo, son, why aren't we headed to Oxnard? The Cowboys are headed to Oxnard. Why aren't we headed to Oxnard? I was like, well, you said you was going to Vegas, so she's on a flight to Vegas. So I did not go to Oxnard, right? But she wants to be out there, so maybe I might. But as of right now, I am chilling. Now, when it comes to Dallas Cowboys this week, like I said, they are on their way to Oxnard. Today is just a travel day. All right. Tomorrow will be the media presentation and the press conference with Jerry Jones. So you have Jerry sitting up there, Brian Schottenheimer, and of course, Stephen Jones. I don't know why Stephen has to be included, but it just is what it is, right? So tomorrow will be the media press conference, and definitely we're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. We're going to go live and do all that fun stuff because we are ramping up the content like crazy. No more days off. And then Wednesday, that is when our Dallas Cowboys will take the practice field and they'll get to action. Now, of course, y'all, we're excited. But remember, they're going to be just like me, just in t-shirts and shorts on out there. Ain't going to be no pads on, so they're going to be out there practicing, but we'll have to temper our excitement until once they actually put the pads on, which will probably be around Saturday. But once the pads do come on, there are going to be a few things that I'm keeping my eyes on as we get to camp. And I want you guys to comment below and let me know what will you be watching as well. Because honestly, as a family CFO gang, we're going to be watching all of it, all right? And that's why you subscribe to the channel. But the number one thing I'm going to be watching, which I think a lot of people will be watching, will be Michael Trigg. All right, a lot of people will be focused on the undrafted free agent that we brought in out of the University of Baylor at the tight end position. Now, when it comes to Michael Trigg, he is a guy that he's more of a wide receiver type. He really doesn't do a lot of tight end things, but man, oh man, he's special. Has ball tracking ability. He can split the seams, yak ability, strong catching. Like, he is a mismatch nightmare, which is something I've been asking for in Dallas for a long time. I always felt like when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys and our tight ends, they're all kind of just stiff and blocky. Just nothing with the wiggle. Like, I want the wiggle, all right? And you're seeing it across the league. Brock Bowers, you're seeing Benson, you're seeing Kyle Pitts, you're seeing these tight ends with this wiggle, all right? I think that Michael Trigg gives us that opportunity. It's going to be interesting to see, does he really get a fair shot? I think Dallas Cowboys fans will come unglued if we're sitting out there watching these preseason games and be like, yo, Trigg still ain't in. Trigg still ain't in, all right? So if you're going to make the case that Schoonmaker beats out Michael Trigg, they better have even reps. So that is one thing I am definitely going to be watching. But another nugget I am going to be watching on the offensive side of the ball, because of course we're going to be Hawkeye in defense, is Drew Shelton. Drew Shelton was a draft pick that we drafted out of Penn State at the tackle position. It's going to be interesting to see how things transpire once we get out to camp when it comes to Drew Shelton. Now, he has the size, he has the athleticism, he has the technique and really good feet. The one thing when it comes to Drew Shelton, he just doesn't have that battery in his back. He just doesn't have that dog mentality. But if you can get that in him, you might have you a project for the future. Now, I do believe Tyler Guyton will take a step forward, all right? But as we heard Will McClay speak on the podcast, the Doing All Right podcast with Vach and Broad, salute to those guys. Hey, It's a make or break season. So I feel like the clock is ticking when it comes to Tyler Guyton, and Drew Shelton might either be right behind him on the depth chart, or he might be a guy that, could possibly be the left tackle project of the future, as the Dallas Cowboys could consider moving on from Tyler Guyton if he does not turn the corner. But Tyler Guyton, I'm pulling for you, bro, because I need you. I need you. I think Cowboys Nation needs you. I've been saying this, and a lot of people have been calling me cuckoo, all right? But I feel like Tyler Guyton is the most important piece to this season, because if he flops out, we got to pull a whole lot of levers here. We got to move Tyler Smith over here, plug TJ Bass there. We got to do this. We got to all right. It'd just be a whole lot easier if Tyler Guyton just walks to the door and becomes who the Dallas Cowboys ultimately thought he would be when they actually drafted him. But outside of that, I want to go to kind of a gem, all right? And this is a guy that I'm going to be watching. Now, he was on my show before the Dallas Cowboys even spoke to him, all right? So that's kind of why people do follow me, because I'm the draft wizard, right? Tommy Dunn Jr. Tommy Dunn Jr. out of the University of Kansas. Now, Tommy Dunn is a guy that I scouted heavily. I watched him closely covering the Kansas Jayhawks. And the thing about him as a defensive tackle, he's an A-gap player, but also a B-gap player. Now, primarily at the University of Kansas, his main functionality was to go out there and stop the run. But he does have the ability to get off the ball extremely quick to make things happen. And he can have some pass rushing abilities. He's one of those sleeker type defensive tackles. So you do have Kenny Clark, Quentin Williams, Jonathan Buller, Otito, right? You have those guys, kind of your core four. But when it comes to the Jays and some of those other players, I think that Tommy has a great shot to possibly work his way up to be in that defensive tackle rotation. So I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on my guy, Tommy, because one, I found him for you, Christian Parker. I found him for you, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely got to keep an eye on my guys, all right? Another thing I'm going to be watching, y'all, and I personally don't really feel comfortable about it, but you got to trust the process, all right? Marist Liufau, outside linebacker. All right, so what do I mean by that? We've known since Mike Zimmer brought in Marist Liufau, he was our middle linebacker, our inside guy. But in Christian Parker's 3-4-ish scheme, he's going to be a guy that's possibly on the edge, that's going to be coming forward, setting the edge, coming out the quarterbacks, doing all that stuff. We'll have to sit back and see it all unfold, but I am going to be keeping my eyes closely on the linebacker rotation and who is playing where, all right? Because I think that's going to be a very important piece as we try to put our nuggets together for this defense. Now, let's be honest, y'all. They're not going to reveal everything out to the public, right? Christian Parker's not going to have this new crazy scheme, and while tons of Cowboys fans and media covers out there, he's going to just put it in display. A lot of those things will be done in private practices where nobody's allowed, then also once we get back to Frisco, all right? So just remember that. The excitement for camp means something, but they're not going to show you anything, right? Because an Eagles fan can just go, an Eagle scout can just go out to Oxnard and get the whole thing, right? They're not going to give you that. But it's going to be interesting to see where are these linebackers playing and how they're being utilized. And I'm definitely going to keep my eyes on that. And then last but not least, the cornerback position, all right? Now, we know that we have Kobe Durant, who I think Kobe Durant is our 1A. Some might disagree, but I do believe that he is, all right? Then we know that Caleb Downs is going to be our nickel, so he's going to be playing the inside. And then on the outside, Deron Bland, right? Deron Bland, can he turn the corner? Can he get healthy? Can he revise himself to be who he was when he was an all-pro with a sit back and wait and see? But there is a guy that we drafted out of the University of Florida in Devin Moore, who I really like his film. He's technically sound, not extremely, not on, because I think once things start to transpire and we're sitting back watching these preseason games, we're going to be like, yo, Tuck, you might be right about that kid. You might be right about that kid, Tuck. So we'll have to sit back and wait and see. But yo, football season is finally here, y'all. We are going to have film sessions. We're going to have live shows. We're going to have content. There is no more days off. I'm on a 1,000% race all the way up to the Super Bowl in LA. So that is why you should subscribe to the channel. Turn on that notification bell so you do not miss out. If you're still kind of out of the loop, you don't even know who the hell Tuck is talking about when I'm mentioning Tommy Dunn Jr. and Devin Moore. That's cool. I have a whole playlist right there that you can click on, and I have film sessions and interview to get you caught up as we gear up for this NFL season, Cowboys Nation. We have finally make it. Now it's time. Let's go out there and ride. Peace.